Alrighty, welcome back to Musical Connections. This is NextIIConnect, and I'm Zach Snow. And joining me right now, this guy has had a very fast rise here in the Newfoundland and Labrador music scene. His album Voicemail was released back in June to rave reviews, and he's up for an ECMA award this year for African Canadian Artist of the Year. Joining me right now on Musical Connections, my man Baraka. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. What's up?
This is it, man, and welcome to NextIIConnect.
Thank
I've been
you.
wanting to get you on for a very long time.
Thank you for having me.
Both of our schedules haven't really aligned with it, but now is the perfect time to do it. So first things first, congratulations on your ECMA nomination.
Thank you. Oh, man, can't believe it's real. Like, when I got the message, I was at work. I remember this. I was at work.
Oh, no way.
And I got the message from Dave. It was like, yo, you're the first name read. I'm like, what? What do you mean? That's crazy. Yeah, it's a blessing. It's an honor, of course, to be up for such an honor. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that, obviously, we work towards these things. We work towards, achieving things and putting out music and doing all the things that you want to do. But to see it materialize like that in a nomination like that amongst such great artists too, it's unreal for me, and I'm super, super grateful. And I owe it to my team. I owe it to Dave. I owe it to Matt for putting me in a position where I can do my thing and for people to receive it the way they have.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were really one of the first signees to Hurricane Music, or the first signee to Hurricane Music. I believe with Violet was first, then it was you. But really, like, Dave and Matt took you under their wing to help mold you into the star you are today. And you've had like a really rapid rise. Like, you had one of the fastest rises of a musician here in the province that I can remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy when you're working with people who understand what you're trying to do. Dave and Matt really, first and foremost, they're musicians, right? And they understand music. And
oh yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's that connection between us where we just know when it's right. We know when it sounds right. And even when we don't, we're like, all right, I have this kind of philosophy that there's no such thing as a completed song or a finished song. It's just when you decide, okay, this is at a point where I want people to hear it. And some days, for example, Wine Drunk. Like, this is an example I like to put out. When I was making that song, I was in the studio with Matt, and I wasn't really sure about it. I was like, man, I don't know if this is done. I don't know if this is something that is in a good spot to put out. But we had worked so much on it, and we were like, okay, like, this is it. This is the song. It's done. It was the last song that we did, and it was received to. Oh my God! It was on Spotify playlists, and people loved it. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, Wine Drunk!" So, yeah. Anyway, to be in the company of such exceptional musicians and professionals in Matt and Dave is a blessing, and it's something that I definitely thank God for so many times in a day.
Yeah. If there's one regret that I do think about newfound releases is that I didn't choose Wine Drunk as a newfound release. It was the longest night of my life, and I just looked
That's
at
my
Wine
favorite.
Drunk on Spotify playlist, and I'm just like, why did I not choose that one? But both songs are really great songs.
Thank you.
We'll get to Voicemail later on, but I want to get to what got you into music in the first place. Of course, you're originally not from Newfoundland and Labrador. You were born in Tanzania. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about why you got to music in the first place.
I come from a musical family. It's something that I don't know if we really lean into like that, like my family, but it started in church, and I remember singing in choir, and I loved it. I didn't know why I loved it. I remember going to church and falling asleep through the sermon. Like, all of that was just boring to me. But when the music started, I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? So that's kind of where it started. And I got my first guitar at 14. And I didn't even know how to play the guitar properly the first time I wrote a song. I was just playing the open strings and fretting random notes, and I came up with a song. And from that day, I remember I was just sitting in the kitchen with my sister, and we were playing this guitar that I had no clue how to play, and we were writing this song. And I just knew that something felt right. It felt like that's what I wanted to do. That's what I was supposed to be doing in my life. So ever since then, it's just been growing and learning and the influences. And, oh man, it's been such a great journey, and I'm grateful for it, because I really believe music is one of those things that is very spiritual. I like to reference this, like, I grew up in a Christian home, and music is the only thing that is shared between the heavens and the earth. Like, that the angels sang, right? And human beings also have music, so it's a very spiritual thing for me. It's a very spiritual experience to be able to create and sing and write and all that. So music's my life.
Well, if there's one saying that we can all, like agree that is music is therapy. And it's really is good therapy to let all your emotions out, and you do that on your album Voicemail too. So I want to talk about songwriting in particular and why you enjoyed so much. So on your website, you talk about some of your inspirations being, John Mayer, Tracy Chapman, and those being the influences that, make up the crux of most of your songs that you write. So what do you enjoy most about writing songs?
Expression. Expression is kind of like the thing that I find so easy to do musically. I don't really, how do I say this? I'm a very outward person, a extroverted, emotional even, but there's a lot of things that I don't really say, and it comes out in my music, whether that's through like relationships or friendships or whatever. So the songwriting bit for me is kind of like my chance to say the things that I may otherwise never be able to say, or never work up the courage to say, or I don't know, just going through stuff and being able to connect with the next person. So that's songwriting. It's a journey. It's a craft that I've absolutely fallen in love with. I've learned to become more fluid in the way that I look at songwriting. Like I said, there is no such thing as a finished song. You can always change stuff. You can always add stuff. You can always take away stuff. And just realizing that it's a method for me to connect with the next person, to connect with anybody, because we're all human beings. We all have experiences that we maybe relate to, may be able to relate to, and some maybe we just have no idea. And writing and being able to express yourself is a method that I find is very useful in bringing people together.
Wonderful, man. Now, you made the move here to Newfoundland and Labrador, I believe a couple of years ago. I think I've only really met you last year. So why did you want to move here to Newfoundland and Labrador to pursue music?
So that was one of the randomest decisions of my life. There was a memorial at my high school at the time, and I'd never heard of a Newfoundland at the time. And I kind of wanted to experience life a little bit differently. I come from a big city. I think there's like 8-9 million people in Dar es Salaam. It's my hometown. And all I knew was a fast life. All I knew was, rush, the urban life, the city boy life, so to speak. And I just kind of wanted a different perspective. And Memorial seemed like a good place to be. The tuition was cheap, which was great. And I didn't even look up Newfoundland, did not Google it. My parents did, just to make sure I was going to a place that actually existed. And I got here and I realized how cold it was, and I was like, "Oh, damn! I don't know if I made the right play here." So it was just off a whim, really. I decided that I wanted to experience something different, something smaller, to get a bigger community feeling, and it has lived up to my expectations.
That is wonderful, man. Listen, we're very, very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And especially when you came here to Newfoundland for the first time, you had those cold winds coming at you. It's like the cold winds of reality blowing right in your face.
I even wrote a song about it, trust me.
No way! That's excellent, man. Now, of course, you rose very rapidly over the past year or so, and you got to do that with the team at Hurricane Music. Now, of course, that involves David Shears, who's going to be on NextIIConnect next week, and Matt Dines, who is also up for Recording Engineer of the Year. Hurricane Music are also up for Management Group of the Year at the East Coast Music Awards.
That's the boys,
out of
man.
The 52 nominations that we've got. It's really great to see them, be successful with that. But I want to talk about, how did you get the opportunity with Hurricane Music in the first place?
So I went through NextIIConnect, and I met Dave Shears there, and he pointed me towards Matt Dines to make my first single at the time it was. And I was like a spring chicken, man. I hadn't been in the studio. The last time I put work out, it was under a different name that I went by. It was in 2017. And this was a bit of a transitional period in my life. I just graduated. I was working a job that I absolutely hated. Great job, great people, but just not for me. And I was just looking to do what I wanted to do for my whole life, and which is make music. So I will always say this: NextIIConnect changed my life in ways that I did not even imagine. To bring me together with Matt and Dave, it worked. It felt like it was meant to be. It felt like something that God just guided me towards. So yeah, NextIIConnect, for me personally, I appreciate every single person in that organization. past and present, and even in the future, what they do for artists and creators and all that is something that me personally has been a miracle in my life. And that's how I came to meet with these lovely gentlemen and make music that I absolutely love.
That's wonderful, buddy. Now, you did record your debut single, Island Queen, and you went on to record Voicemail with Matt Dines. So I wanted to talk about your working relationship with Matt Dines, because you two really, like the chemistry just from the videos I see on Instagram, and also You're on Home is Where the Art Is, show on NTV that aired a couple of months ago. The chemistry is there. So what's it like working with Matt?
Oh, man. Man, I don't know. I don't know if I have enough adjectives to, is that the right word, adjectives? To describe what it's like working with Matt. He's a professional. He's a musician. He's a master at, for me, it's guitar. Anytime I see somebody play guitar and what they're doing is something that I like, I'm like, this guy gets something. Like, he understands music the same way that I do.
Oh, yeah.
And even beyond that, he works with so many different artists, and every time I'm in the studio, he's always telling me, like, yo, I'm working on like 40 songs right now. 40 songs, bro? That's crazy.
Yeah, I was talking to him back in October when we were at the American Innovation Exchange for Music Celebration Week, and he's like working on like 5 or 10 other different artists, like Kathy Stock, with yourself, with Violet, you name it. He's worked on a song with everybody. Much. Well, not everybody, but like a lot of people that you normally either do see a lot or don't see a lot. Yeah,
and I think that's kind of like, it gives him this, I like to call it, it's like a superpower, man. Like when you work with so many people, you develop almost like a sixth sense for music and production and creativity and all that. And Matt just embodies that, man. He's a professional. He's so extremely good at what he does. And an element that I think he definitely I don't know if he underrates or doesn't lean into enough is his songwriting. He's a fantastic songwriter. Like, Matt Dines is one of those people that can just do it all. He can play, he can sing, he can write, he's a machine. And I love working with him. I will work with him every single day of my life, and that's just something that I stand on.
And listen, that summarizes your relationship right there. You're like family.
Basically, yeah. I love him, man. Like, Matt is one of those people that I don't know what higher power has led me to him, but I'm grateful for it. Like, there's the working relationship as well, but also mentorship. I am 100% a much better performer because of all the time that I spent with Matt. Like, he's teaching me about guitars, he's teaching me about pedals, he's guiding me through like how to control like the energy in like a set and how to progress and stuff like that. So again, he's a jack of all trades and master of many.
Oh yeah, and he was a master of crafting your sound as well. I mean, it's evident through Voicemail. So how would you describe the sound that makes up Baraka?
Connective, I say. I really believe music is for the people, man. Like, it's one of those things where, for me, when I was growing up, listening to the Ed Sheerans and the Tracy Chapmans, bands like The Script, Usher, I'd always hear the songs I love, and there was something that drew me towards those experiences. There was something that I couldn't really describe, and I don't know. The sound is what it is, but at the end of the day, when I put out music, the aim is for somebody to hear this and it help them along in like any aspect of their life that they want to, whether that be enjoyment, whether that be getting through something. Like, there's many a times where I listen to a song and it makes me think about a moment in my life where maybe I went through a period of growth or a period of enjoyment or anything really. So my sound is ever evolving, as every musician's is, I think. But for me, the core of it is producing something or creating things that are really going to resonate with people. Like, it's an intangible thing, and I know it when I hear it, and it's so hard to describe. But at the end of the day, when you hear songs like Wine Drunk, like, I don't know. The story is what it is, but for the story to be conveyed in the right way to the right audience, the sound has to be there, and it's a gift from God. It's the universe at work.
That's wonderful, buddy. Now, you released Voicemail back in June, and it was to rave reviews. I mean, when I was at the Wavemakers concert back in November, I mean, everyone was like clapping along. I Will Be There, Wine Drunk, Longest Night of My Life, and then I
that
believe
shit was crazy.
Was it during Wine Drunk that you incorporated Tracy Chapman's Fast Car?
That was Longest Night.
Longest Night of My Life.
Yeah.
But yeah, Voicemail got a lot of great reviews, and he ended up winning a Global Artist of the Year at the Music NL Awards.
Yeah.
And aside from like Buddy What's His Name and the other fellers and Darcy Scott, you got one of the biggest reactions of the night. I remember when they announced your name, the place went crazy.
That was so wild, yeah.
So what has the reception been like to Voicemail, from your point of view?
Oh man, to be honest, having had Island Queen out the year before, I just didn't really know what I was doing. I was kind of like being like, all right, I'm just gonna make music, put it out, see what happens. I'm gonna put in the time, put in the effort to learn all these things, to master being in the studio and all that. And it's kind of one of those things where it just happened the way that it did, and I'm grateful for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really. Of course, there's strategy, there's marketing, there's all these things that you have to put into to have a successful release. And again, I'm grateful to Hurricane Music, to Dave Shears and Matt for being able to support me in organizing that and making sure that it was the success that it was. But there is an element of I don't know to creating and putting something out. And for me, the way that Voicemail was received, it earned me awards, it earned me residencies at really gem spots in the cities. Man, there's just no words. There's no words for me to explain how grateful I am for the opportunity and the space to put out music the way that I have, to put out my first EP. Like, that was the first body of work that I put out as Baraka, as myself. And it was received to such great acclaim, to such great honors. You can't make this shit up. Like, it's something that I look at and I'm like, man, I don't know what I did to be here, but I'm just grateful. So thank you to everybody that streamed Voicemail. Thank you for coming to the shows. Thank you for, man, I'm just the guy who loves to play it, man. And to be in a position where I'm adored and love what I do is something that I couldn't have scripted that. Like, that just happened.
If I'm being honest with you, you're probably one of the most down-to-earth musicians I think I've ever met. Every time you go up on stage and you play your music and say you're so grateful and thankful to be playing music and be in front of a crowd playing, like, you really mean that. You put your heart and soul into everything, and it really shows.
Oh man, that's the way, man. Like, all my life, that's all I ever wanted. Like, even when I think back to the days when I was singing in choir or like not really knowing what I'm doing with my music, whatever. It's all I ever wanted. Like, it's literally all I ever wanted. Like, just to play and sing and write. And again, to be in a province, in a city that people have just accepted me to do a province-wide tour with, oh man, that was, it's something that I don't have enough words to describe it. I'm grateful for it, and long may it continue.
Absolutely, man. Now, we're actually going to get to the song Wine Drunk in a moment here, right after this conversation on Next to Connect. Mm-hmm. But I want to ask you, like, how would you summarize your 2023, and further to that, what are your plans for 2024?
Oh, 2023 was a big launch year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was one of those years where I did a lot, I pushed a lot, strived a lot, and the fruits of the labor were there. The music was there, the reception was there, and all that, and I'm grateful for it. And the key was just to start. Just to get out there and do it. The key is just to do it as much as you can, as often as you can, as much as you want to. And 2024 is honestly most likely the same thing, just to do it as much as you want, to get out there and play those shows and to make that music. And so for me, I am in the studio right now working on my debut album. Voicemail was an EP, pseudo album, but like full-length album is what I'm on right now, and the way that it's shaping up is something that really, really excites me. I think many are gonna love the material that's gonna be on there. It's an honor to be working with Matt again, always, and Dave as well. And thank you to Music NL once again and Arsenal. And oh man, it's something that I am really, really, really looking forward to putting out, and to more shows, to more music, to more connection, to more community, and all that. And take it off, man.
Absolutely. Now, what's next for you in the immediate future? Because I would imagine you'll be up in Charlottetown for the East Coast Music Awards, right?
Yeah. I'm going up there in May. Immediate future, more gigs, more practice, more reps, the whole thing. And again, like, a lot of my time is going into the studio right now, creating this body of work. But yeah, man, I try to keep it very easy, very basic. Wake up every day and do what you love. Put a smile on. Really, really lean into it. Lean into that creation. Lean into that energy. Lean into the universe. Lean into God. Whatever you believe in. Like, I will always say this. Music for me, first and foremost, is a spiritual experience. It is, and whatever way that comes, whether it's through shows, whether it's through the studio, whether it's through writing, whether it's through connecting, whether it's through going to Charlotte. By the way, I've never been to PEI, so this is going to be my first time there. And yeah, man, for me, it's just connecting with people, connecting with souls, being able to hear people's stories, being able to tell your own stories, and more of that, and long may it continue, man.
And for people who want to find out more about what you're doing and keep up with you on this journey, where can they go?
So they can find me at BRKWAV on every platform. So your Instagrams, your Facebooks, the whole thing, TikTok. You can find me there. I'm always on some wild shit. I'm always looping. I'm always posting stuff. So follow me there. Send me pictures of your dogs, your cats, your hamsters, the whole thing. I love that stuff. And yeah, let me know what you think about the music. And who knows, maybe you'll inspire the next song.
Well, Baraka, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the Musical Connections podcast here on Next to Connect, and finally have you on here. Congratulations once again on your ECMA nomination for African Canadian Artist of the Year.
Thank you. Congrats to yours as well.
Oh, thank you so much, buddy. I was honestly shocked the day that they announced the nominations. I was just like, let's go. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But it's been a journey, like really, not just for me, but for you as well. Thank you. I can't wait to see what you got up next. So Baraka, thank you so much for joining me on Next to Connect. You have a wonderful day, and all the best to you in the month and year ahead.
Thank you. All the best to you as well. Thank you for having me. It's been an honor. And yeah, I'll be seeing you around for sure.